What if you have already lived this life before? What if this isn't your first life, not your first existence, not your first consciousness? This exact life, the same family, the same friends, the same city, the same mistakes, over and over again. What if every choice you've ever made has already happened countless times before, and you're simply living through another attempt? Perhaps that's what déjà vu really is. Not a glitch in the brain, a crack in the memory, a brief moment when another version of you remembers what happened last time, and for a split second, you do too. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that you've lived this exact life 1,000 times. Not similar lives, not alternate versions. This one, the same childhood bedroom, the same first love, the same heartbreak, the same victories, the same regrets. Each time beginning at birth, each time ending in death, each time forgetting everything and starting again. At first it sounds impossible, but if it were true, how would you know? You don't remember being born. You don't remember the first years of your life. Your earliest memories are fragments, scattered pieces of a story already in progress. And every morning, you wake up believing yesterday was real, believing your memories belong to you, believing this is the first and only time you've ever experienced any of it. But what if memory is the lock that keeps the cycle hidden? What if forgetting is part of the process? Because imagine remembering every version of your life, every embarrassing moment, every painful loss, every mistake repeated across thousands of lifetimes. The weight would be unbearable. Perhaps forgetting isn't a flaw. Perhaps it's mercy. Maybe somewhere beyond this reality, there is a place where every version of your life is stored. A vast archive of forgotten attempts. Millions of choices branching into millions of outcomes. A library filled with versions of you. The you that took the job. The you that didn't. The you that said yes. The you that walked away. The you that never recovered. The you that changed everything. And somewhere within that endless collection, this version is unfolding now. But what if the goal isn't simply to repeat? What if each life is a lesson, a test, a puzzle, a challenge that must eventually be solved? Maybe every difficult person you've ever met was placed in your path for a reason. Maybe every setback was an opportunity. Maybe every regret was a clue. And perhaps each time you fail to learn what you were meant to learn, the cycle begins again. Not as punishment, as another chance, another attempt, another run through the maze. Think about the moments that changed everything. A random conversation, a missed phone call, a different route home. Tiny decisions that altered the direction of your entire future. What if those moments aren't random at all? What if they are checkpoints? Places where countless previous versions of you made different choices. Places where reality quietly waits to see what you'll do this time. And maybe that's why certain moments feel so strangely important. Even when they seem ordinary, some part of you remembers standing there before. Not consciously, not clearly, but enough to feel it. Enough to feel the weight of something familiar. A strange feeling that you've been here before. Because perhaps you have. Perhaps every unexplained fear comes from a previous life you no longer remember. Every irrational attraction, every instinct, every feeling that defies explanation, echoes from forgotten attempts, fragments that survived the reset. Imagine standing in front of a door. One version of you opens it, another walks away, another never notices it at all. Each choice creates a different future, but eventually, every path reaches the same destination, the end. And when that moment comes, when your story finally concludes, what happens next? Do you move on? Do you disappear? Or do you open your eyes once more, back at the beginning, back to another childhood, another lifetime, another opportunity to try again? Perhaps that is why some people feel as though they're searching for something they cannot name, a purpose, a missing piece, a destination they've never seen, because somewhere deep inside, they remember, not the details, not the events, but the feeling that they've done this before, that they came here for a reason, that something remains unfinished. And maybe that's true. Maybe every life is a chapter in a story too large to understand from the inside. Maybe every ending is secretly a beginning. Maybe you've already lived this life hundreds of times, maybe thousands. Maybe this very moment has happened before. And if that's the case, if you've already lived this life before, what is different this time?